Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. The game of man getting women really just comes down to mindset. That's really what it comes down to. It just comes down to what you think. Now, was it last week? I think it was week beforehand. I did that video saying guys who don't have those supermodel looks, men who ain't making six figures, and men who definitely don't have status, definitely getting some women out here. And I had one detractor on there, so you should take that down. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Everything I say, everything I do is just based what I see in the real world. And I was thinking about that now. Because it's amazing. People say something, but they never say where they live. But see, one thing I noticed about them, they got a jacked up mindset. Because think about it, if you look at everything, you got some dudes who call themselves ugly, yet they fucking. They getting some women. They be having some kids or something. Dudes, they call themselves ugly. Dudes who ain't 6 feet getting women. Dudes who are broke. They could be hobosexuals and they getting women. And dudes who definitely don't have status. These might be some dudes like no name, no status dudes barely working on a job. But they getting played like a man. Shit. But you know what it is? Because I thought about what is the difference between the men who are getting played and the men who aren't getting played. It's mindset. Indeed, that's why even with that thing called handsome man game. Now, supposedly if you handsome, you don't need game. You should be getting women. But you get some guys looking for that and saying they still need game, right? It's not even so much their looks, it's their mindset. If you handsome, it don't matter. You could be as handsome as possible and still not getting the women. And even the type of women you do get is still the mindset. Like, and I've said publicly before, a lot of dudes ain't gonna get some beautiful woman. And the reason why it's not that, you don't look good or anything. It's the mindset. A lot of dudes be putting like very beautiful women on a pedestal. Now, if you approach those women like they people and talk to them like they're people, you'll have a better chance with them. But see, that comes down to mindset. Mindset, what you thinking up here. Because when I think about all the players I've known to this minute, no, not back in the day, to this second, like I could I can get off of here and shoot them a text or something. These dudes ain't all like a bunch of these dudes working regular jobs. You don't know who they are and everything, so they don't have money or status. You could say they have looks, but not what a lot of dudes be like on these social media streets thinking is looks, thinking they gotta look like some supermodel of the world shit or some pretty boy. Some of them be looking rough. I know some dudes, shoot, they under 6 feet. They macking like crazy. But at the same time, you get some dudes who don't look like they don't look like a supermodel, so they think, oh, okay, I ain't getting no women. They don't have no money. They be thinking, I don't have no money, how am I get a woman? Because they really, I'm going to tell you what, with the mindset, the men who getting women, multiple women, they just got a mindset they're going to get theirs. Now, is some woman going to call them unattractive? Yeah. Is some woman going to call them broke? Yeah. But like I've always said, every single man is going to get rejected. I don't care what he look like. There's 4 billion women in the world. All 4 billion ain't going to like your ass. That's why I talk about a tribe and figuring out which women like you. Like I think about the women who are friendliest to me. They always look generally the same. They generally in the same range, all right? They generally in the same range, the women who show some interest in me, who go out their way to talk to me. generally in the same range, same type of facial features. You know, there ain't no baddies. Like, baddies don't show interest in me. Ratchet women don't show interest in me. You know, it's usually like some women who, I would say, for those who know what they are, AKA types, those are the ones who show the most interest in me, right? Those are the ones who show the most interest. Like, poor and working class women, you know, I might just be corny to them. And you know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But then if I really wanted them, if I wanted them back, oh, trust me, I wouldn't have a problem getting them. And there's been let's just say there's been a couple, but then it was my mindset. See, when you talk about that thing of ours we call game, it's really about your mindset. It don't matter. You're going to be who you're going to be. You're going to be the height you're going to be. Even when you engage in body game, you might not be a big brolic motherfucker without some steroids. Yeah, I advise against that. I had somebody ask me about that. I was like, I don't use them. So I can't give you anything. That's not my thing. Or if you want to be, you know, some dudes, they can be real big, but they ain't going to be like nice and lean. But then that's why you get some, well, what you want to do, motherfucker? Drifting all over the place. Yeah, y'all know when I do car videos, I gotta be talking some shit to some people. But anyway, right? You know, it's all in your mind. If you have the mindset you ain't gonna get a woman, I don't give a fuck what you look like, how much money you got, how much status you got, you gonna have some trouble. If you deep down think you gonna have some trouble, even when you dealing with a woman, if you feel like if your mindset is, oh yeah, these women just gonna play me and take my money, that's what you gonna run into. That's what you're gonna run into, because then that's the type of vibe you're gonna give off, a mark vibe. You're going to give off, and when I say a mark, you're going to look like you can be taken advantage of. It's the same thing I've said before somewhere. I don't know whether it was on my Deep Thought channel, my Money channel, could have been right here. You know, you get some dudes who get robbed all the time and stuff. That's because if they giving off a vibe like they're a mark. But that vibe starts with your mindset. If you got that mindset, like a woman is beyond you, you can't get her, she's out of your class, or she's some goddess or something, well, that's how you going to respond. That's how your body language is going to be around her. I think I have a video coming up about body language. Yeah, I do. I have a video coming up about body language. Because remember, all the videos I do on my main channel, I do them a week beforehand, maybe 2 weeks sometimes. So I got a video coming up about body language. But body language starts from where? It starts from your mindset. Like any men having trouble getting a woman, it ain't because of your height. It ain't because of your looks. It ain't because you like money or status or whatever case. It ain't because of your race or whatever you want to say. Ultimately, it comes down to you don't have the mindset to get women. Because once you have the mindset, you can always get women. Now, are you going to get every woman? No. But then, here's the thing. Even when you reject it, especially when you're young, like I said, I can pretty much look at a woman and know if she's going to be receptive to me or not. I can take one look at her, right? But how do I know that? Just from doing my thing. Now, even the ones who ain't receptive, I actually know what I can do. My mindset is I can get them, but it's like, for what? Why waste time with them? But that's what the mindset you got to have if you're going to be out here dealing with women. And unfortunately, there's a whole lot of guys got some problems. There's a whole bunch of guys, you know. They thinking, oh, I ain't tall enough. Oh, I ain't handsome enough. First of all, you don't know who a woman consider handsome or whatever. And contrary to popular belief, all women ain't tripping over that height thing. Contrary to popular belief. And even if they are, sometimes you get some women Shoot, they might have something against somebody's height, but if somebody coming off confident and doing his thing anyway and don't give a fuck, and I've been seeing that for life too. To this minute. Shoot, just coming back from the gym. Saw this woman and stuff, man. But she married, but her husband, she about 5'4", husband about 5'6". It's like, oh shit. Apparently he don't give a fuck. And he don't have a square jaw either. But see, you got a lot of dudes because they don't look a certain way, or they allow somebody to say, well, you don't have a square jaw. You're not 6'2". You know, you don't have 8% body fat. I'm like, whatever. And indeed, even when I talk, let's talk about that body fat thing. When I talk about body gain, ultimately it's so you can feel better about yourself. You can feel better about what you can do. That's ultimately what it's all about. You know? That's ultimately what you need to do. But see, once again, that's mindset. Because you got to think. You got all these women out here. And I've said before in a car video, these women thirsty out here. And a man could just, all he has to do is have the right mindset. You know, I hadn't talked about the secret these sex workers gave me. I throw it out all the time. I'm still not going to throw it out. I've actually found it's better if somebody figure it out. But I'll give you this one part. All they did was just change some fellas' minds. When we were learning the secret, the biggest thing they did was just change our mindset. They told some other stuff, but they just changed our mindset more than anything else. Okay. Got somebody cleaning, got a truck cleaning out of circle. Alright. Well, we'll see if we'll speed up. Still doing this thing. Anyway, right? All they changed was our mindset and gave us a different perspective. That's all they did. Now, we didn't change. None of us changed. All of a sudden, all of us were getting more play than we knew what to do with. And I do mean knew what to do with. But all they did was change our mindset. Our clothing didn't change. Our body builds didn't change. Our looks didn't change. Our mindset changed. And that's all that happened. That's all that happened. You change your mindset, I don't care who you are. You can get some women. In fact, there was a classic episode of Married with Children, with Al Bundy, right? And Al, most of the time he would be, I'm going to see if I can find that episode and put it in the description box or a link to it or something talking about it. I'll see. I can't remember the name of it exactly. Hold up, I got to pass this street cleaner. So I can't remember exactly what that episode was, but it was an episode, right? Because, Al was usually slobbing and bummy and all of that. And all that happened was a woman told him he looked good. That's all that happened. All of a sudden, he changed his whole thing up. He changed his whole thing. Now, his looks didn't change. His body build didn't change. All he changed was his mindset. But, he's Married with Children. He went back to being old Al, stick his hand in his pants and all of that, right? But that's all it was. And anybody could do that. You change your mindset no matter what. No matter what, you change your mindset, you can do well. Because one of the things I've seen with guys who have trouble, it don't matter what they look like, what their body build was, what their height was, it's always been their mindset. It's always been their mindset. And I've known some dudes who were, they had height, decent body build. Women that I knew would say, hey, yeah, who's your friend? Oh, yeah, he look good. Handsome. They still having trouble because their minds weren't right. Look, I'm going to tell you what, that's the biggest thing. Shoot, you change your mindset, everything else will flow from that. How you dress, Shoot, maybe going to the gym, or shoot, just change your mindset just by itself without doing anything else will change how you're going to interact with women. Because if you have the mindset that, oh, women are this or women are that. Like, somebody hit me up the other day, right? Talking about, like, the hoe phase and stuff that supposedly a lot of women go through, which some women do, but all of them don't. All of them don't. I've known some women got very low counts, and trust me, if I'm around a woman and she tell me her count, I can read it. I can read it. I can read whether she bullshitting me or not. Trust me. Because that's one of my skills. I can read people really well. If I'm in their presence, they bullshitting me. If they're going to bullshit me, best way to bullshit me is like get me over the phone or something. And even then, I'm listening to everything. But, you know, there's some women out, this dude thought all women had something, right? All women had a whole face. I said, no, all of them don't. And I actually told the dude, I said, why don't you go out there and talk to some women? You might find the ones who don't. You know? And he thought I was bullshit. And I said, well, don't ask me any more motherfucking questions then. And dude ended up apologizing because I said shit. Now, because if you look, here's the thing. Because you got some dudes who think everything negative about a woman. If you think here's the thing. If your mindset is like everything is negative about a woman, that's all you're going to find. You know? If you think everything positive about a woman, that's what you're going to find more. It's like this thing, it was a story about this shaman, and he was telling this guy he wanted to go to a particular village, right? Two warriors or something go to a particular village. Now, one, he asked the warrior, well, what do you think is in the village? And the warrior said, well, a bunch of bad people. And the shaman said to him, well, yeah, that's what's there. But then the second warrior came up, and the shaman asked him the same question. What do you think is in the people? A bunch of good people. He's like, well, that's what you're going to be. If you have the mindset that you're going to find something, you will. If you're going to see something, you will. That's what's going to happen. That's just how it works. If you have the mindset, whatever's in your mind, that's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to find, no matter what. No matter what. It is very important to understand that. Very important. You know? But if you got that mindset like, oh, wow, you're not tall enough, or you ain't got enough money, you ain't got this or that, or women ain't going to like you, well, shit, they ain't going to like you. That's why, like, when some people get on here and say, well, women don't like me, and I delete. Because that's the wrong mindset. Now, if you got the mindset like, nah, I'm going to get mine, well, you're going to get yours. You're going to run into it. I've seen that. I've not seen that not only in my own life. I've seen that with other people. I knew this dude, man. He ended up getting married. Now, this dude, he stuttered. He had some problem with his eyes. If you saw him, you would probably consider him a step above being on the spectrum. If you were to see him. Seriously, looking back at him. He couldn't look people in the eye. He stuttered badly. Man, that dude could tell you all the women. He could describe, not just get women, describe what he was getting. And I watched him with women. And there were some women who definitely rejected him, but there were some other women who got with him. But his whole mindset was getting his. In fact, another guy, because I had some guys thinking, well, I'm handicapped or something. One of the biggest players I've known was this wheelchair athlete. And I talked about him before, because that dude, he could break down some game. He said, yeah, he's like this. He was literally like this, right? Yeah. You know, if I have a clean-shaven face, this was a brother, a wheelchair athlete, brother, right? He couldn't use his legs at all, but he still, engaged in some stuff. Buff like a motherfucker. But he said, yeah, if I shave my face clean shaven, I can get some white women. But then if I have a mustache, that's how he was talking too, I can get some black women. That dude had some women. This dude in a wheelchair. But what he had, though, was his mind, his mindset. I'm going to tell you what, that's the most important thing. I don't care what you are. I mean, shoot. I remember seeing a dude, and this dude was a dwarf, a little person. I ain't sure what the politically correct term is now. That dude had a baby girl. That dude had a daughter. And his woman, and you know what I said about being bigger than a woman being bigger than a man, but he would probably vehemently disagree with me, because that dude had a daughter. Shoot, I'm gonna tell you what. It's no matter what, it comes down to a mindset. No matter what, even with sometimes some of the stuff I might say, don't get too caught up into it. It's really to change your mindset. Like I said, no matter what your height, no matter your race, your ethnic group, whatever, whether your face is triangle, round, because one of the most fucked up things out here, and I'm gonna say fucked up. And I'm the type of person, I'll look somebody dead in the eye and tell them fucked up right in the face. This shit is fucked up. Some guys think you gotta have something to get particular women. Or get women and shit. No, you gotta have a mindset. Because if you look out here, women be hooking up with whoever. I talked about that before. Women got two types. They got that fantasy type, ideal type. But like I said, that's the equivalent of a man wanting that woman with the figure 8. Yet you get some guys, be falling in love with some women who don't have that. There's the ideal type, and then there's the realistic type. Any man with the right mindset can be a realistic type for a woman. Any man. That's all it come down to. That's all it come down to. If the man is realistic, if he got the right mindset, if he just going to say to himself, you know what, I'm just going to take what I have and work with it and go for it. That's why you got some short statured men be getting theirs. That's why you got some men who might have a little extra weight on them still getting theirs. Some men who, they call themselves ugly, still getting theirs. They got the right mindset. Now, of course, you still going to get some dudes who go against everything I'm saying. Your I tell you straight up, your mindset's fucked up. And you know what? If you ain't getting none, you ain't getting a woman, whatever, well, that's on you. Who gives a fuck? Seriously. Because more and more it's becoming survival of the fittest out this motherfucker. And if you don't got the right mindset, you ain't going to survive, because it's getting... I'm going to tell you what, everything going on, and like I said, I could get into politics, I won't, or what's happening socially, culturally, whatever. If you got a fucked up mindset, it's nothing I can do for you. And really, you shouldn't even worry. Don't worry about this channel. Don't watch me. Don't waste your time. Don't comment. If you trying to, if you subbing me, but you got a fucked up mindset, get off of here. I don't really give a shit. Seriously. I want woes on this channel. Because that's the biggest problem with a lot of people. I can point, if I talk to anybody about anything, not even just about relationships, it's their mindset. It's their mindset holding them back. And I don't care what it is. And we can talk about money. We can talk about just life and period. In fact, I got some videos coming next week on my Deep Thought channel. I just recorded talking about mindset. That's one of the reasons why I'm talking about mindset now. Now, on this channel, the main thing is man gets woman. Well, shit, if you got fucked up mindsets, you're going to have trouble. You know? And I don't have time for it. Now, if you got a mindset like you want to do something, you want to get that fat butt woman, or, you know, pretty hot and tempting woman, or whatever you want to get, big breasts is pretty, like, look like a supermodel, you got to have the right mindset before anything else. And shoot, what I talk about is really just to change your mindset. That's my biggest thing. So, anyway, you got to go in here, you know, take care of business, get something out of the post office. Anyway, I'll holler at y'all, but think about that. And like I said, if you got a fucked up mindset, leave. Just leave. Seriously, I don't have time. Go find somebody who caters to some weak-ass mindset. I don't cater to it. And don't be like, oh, I got this. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You need to be positive on here. All right? Seriously. And positively, you got to think your mindset. Everything I talk about is just changing your mindset. In fact, somebody had read my book, Nice Guys and Players, and they say, you know, it's all about you thinking a certain way. I was like, that's it. You should. And like I said about people would ask about that secret from the sex workers I got. A big part of it was just changing your perspective. That's it. All right? So anyway, that's all I got. And I'll get back with y'all. Nah, booty ain't fat enough. Anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace.